You are listening to Connection Quest, where every episode is a heartwarming journey to unravel the mysteries of love, intimacy, and the art of meaningful relationships. Join Miku as he explores the real, sometimes messy, always meaningful paths to building stronger, more vibrant romantic bonds. Forget quick fixes. We're digging into the heart of connection, understanding, communication, intimacy, and growing together. Ready to deepen your relationship journey? Let's begin.
Welcome back to Connection Quest. I'm your host, Miku. And if you're here, it means you're ready to do the work. The real work. Not the I'll try harder work, but the I'm going to look at the patterns I've been repeating for years and finally understand why work. Season 2 is officially here, and we are not messing around. Last week, we talked about why your New Year's relationship resolutions already failed. Spoiler alert. It's because you are trying to change behavior without addressing the root cause. Today, we're going deep, like grab your journal and maybe some tissues deep. We're doing what I like to call the attachment audit. Now, I know audit sounds about as fun as doing your taxes while getting a root canal, but stick with me, because what we're about to do is going to change how you see every relationship you've ever had, every fight, every breakup, every time you felt too much or not enough, every time you ghosted someone or got ghosted, every time you fell for someone who was emotionally unavailable. It all makes sense, and today you're going to understand why. We're talking about attachment theory, your relationship blueprint, the invisible instruction manual that's been running your love life since you were about 3 years old. And here's the wild part. Most of us have no idea this blueprint even exists. So grab your coffee, find a quiet spot, and let's figure out what's been running the show. Because I promise you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when the real transformation begins. Let's dive in.
We're learning how to speak our truth, finding courage in the proof. Every scar has taught us how to heal. Every touch reminds us what is real. We chose to stay, we dared to feel. This is our connection quest.
Let's start with the basics, because I'm not going to assume everyone listening is a psychology nerd like me. What the heck is attachment theory? Attachment theory was developed by this British psychologist named John Bowlby back in the 1950s and 60s. He was studying children who'd been separated from their parents during World War II, and he noticed something fascinating. The way kids responded to separation and reunion with their caregivers fell into very predictable patterns. Some kids seemed totally fine. Others were devastated and couldn't be comforted. Some didn't even seem to care. Then, in the 1970s, a developmental psychologist named Mary Ainsworth took Bowlby's work and created what's called the strange situation experiment. Here's how it worked. She'd bring a mother and baby into a room. They'd play together. Then the mom would leave. A stranger would come in. Then the mom would come back. And Ainsworth would observe how the baby responded to all of this. Some babies were upset when mom left, but easily comforted when she returned. Oh, good, you're back. Look at this toy. Other babies completely lost it when mom left and couldn't be soothed even when she came back. They were angry, clingy, inconsolable, and some babies barely reacted to mom leaving or returning. They just kind of carried on independently. Now here's where it gets really interesting and slightly devastating if you're currently in therapy. Those childhood patterns don't just disappear when you grow up. They become the lens through which you experience adult romantic relationships. They become your attachment style, your relationship blueprint. The way you learn to connect with your primary caregivers as a child is now showing up in how you connect with romantic partners as an adult. Mind blown, right? So here's the question we're asking today. What is your attachment style? And more importantly, how is it showing up in your relationships right now? How is it sabotaging your connections? How is it keeping you stuck in the same painful patterns? Because I'm going to be real with you. If you don't understand your attachment style, you're basically walking around with a blindfold on, wondering why you keep bumping into the same walls. So today, we're taking the blindfold off.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real.
There are 4 main attachment styles, and I'm going to walk you through each one. As I describe them, I want you to pay attention to your body. Notice which description makes your stomach tighten. Notice which one makes you think, oh no, that's me. And listen, there's no judgment here. None. Your attachment style is not a moral failing. It's not a personality flaw. It's an adaptation your nervous system made to keep you safe when you were too young to have any other options. So, let's just observe. Let's get curious. And let's figure out what's been running the show. Ready? Attachment style number 1. Secure attachment. If you have secure attachment, congratulations. You basically won the childhood lottery, or you've done a ton of healing work, or you had one really solid, consistent caregiver who provided what's called a secure base. Secure attachment is what we're all trying to get to. It's the goal, the promised land. Here's what it looks like. Relationships feel relatively easy, not perfect, not without conflict, but fundamentally safe. You trust that people will show up for you, and you're confident in your ability to show up for them. When your partner says, I need some space, you don't spiral into, oh my God, they're leaving me. You think, cool, I actually have stuff I want to do too. See you later. When you have a disagreement, you don't catastrophize. You don't think this is over. You think, okay, we have a problem. Let's figure it out. You can communicate your needs directly without feeling like you're begging or being too much. You can say, hey, I'm feeling disconnected lately. Can we plan a date night this weekend? And it doesn't feel like life or death. You are comfortable with both intimacy and independence. You have your own life, your partner has theirs, and you also have a life together. All 3 exist in balance. You can handle conflict without shutting down or blowing up. You can be vulnerable without feeling like you're going to die. You can give your partner space without feeling abandoned. The litmus test. Your partner doesn't text back for 3 hours. Your reaction? They must be in a meeting or busy or their phone died. And then you go about your day like a completely well-adjusted human being. If this describes you, honestly, you can probably skip the rest of this episode. Go enjoy your healthy relationships and your ability to sleep at night without overthinking every interaction from the past week. For the rest of us, keep listening. We've got work to do.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real. scar, every scar, every scar, every scar tells a story.
Attachment style number 2. Anxious attachment. Deep breath. This is my people. This is where I lived for many, many years before I started doing the work. If you have anxious attachment, your biggest fear, your core wound is abandonment. Not like, I hope they don't leave worry. Like visceral, gut-level, primal terror that everyone you love is going to wake up one day and realize you're not enough and leave. So you compensate. You try to secure love by being more attentive, more accommodating, more everything. You might be anxiously attached if you check your phone constantly waiting for texts, and when they don't respond right away, you start catastrophizing. They are losing interest. They met someone else. I said something wrong. This is ending. Your mood is almost entirely dependent on how your relationship is going at any given moment. If things are good with your partner, you're on top of the world. If there's distance or tension, you're devastated. You might come on really strong at the beginning of relationships. Lots of texting, wanting to spend tons of time together, planning the future quickly. That intensity feels like security to you. You have a really hard time with the space. When your partner wants alone time or a weekend with friends, it doesn't feel like healthy independence. It feels threatening, like they're pulling away. You need a lot of reassurance. Do you still love me? Are we okay? You seem distant. Is something wrong? But even when you get that reassurance, the relief only lasts a few hours before the doubt creeps back in. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. When you sense distance, you might engage in what psychologists call protest behavior. You pick fights to get engagement. You send multiple texts. You show up unannounced. Anything to get a reaction, even a negative one, because at least it means they're still engaged. Here's what happened to you as a kid. Your caregivers were inconsistent. Sometimes they were there for you, sometimes they weren't. Sometimes they were warm and loving, sometimes they were cold or distracted or overwhelmed. You never knew which version you were going to get. So your nervous system learned to amplify your distress signals. If I cry loud enough, if I'm charming enough, if I'm perfect enough, maybe they'll stay. Maybe they'll be there. As an adult, this shows up as what people unfortunately call clinginess or neediness. But here's what I need you to understand. You are not fundamentally needy. Your nervous system learned that love is unpredictable. So now you are hyper-vigilant, always scanning for signs of disconnection, always trying to secure the relationship because deep down you don't believe it's secure. Let me tell you a story, and this is embarrassing, but we're doing vulnerability here, so buckle up. I dated this girl once. Nice girl. Emotionally unavailable, of course, because that's what anxiously attached people do. We're drawn to unavailability like moths to a flame, but I didn't know that yet. One day, she didn't text me back for 4 hours. 4 hours. And in those 4 hours, I convinced myself she was definitely losing interest. Analyzed every conversation we'd had in the past 2 weeks, looking for signs I'd missed. Decided I must have said something wrong at dinner the night before. Drafted 3 different we need to talk messages. Thankfully didn't send any of them. Called my best friend in a panic. Started mentally preparing for being single forever. Looked at her Instagram to see if she'd posted anything. She hadn't, which made it worse her text when she finally responded. Hey, sorry, was in back-to-back meetings. Wanna grab dinner tonight? That's it. She was in meetings. A completely normal, reasonable explanation. But my anxious attachment had already written an entire breakup narrative in my head. That, my friends, is what it's like to have anxious attachment. Your nervous system treats a delayed text message like a 5-alarm fire. And here's the coolest irony of anxious attachment. The very behaviors you use to try to keep people close, the constant checking in, the seeking reassurance, the emotional intensity, the need to be in contact 24/7, are often the behaviors that push people away, especially if you are dating someone with avoidant attachment, which, spoiler alert, you probably are. We'll get to that in a minute.
We're learning how to speak our truth. Finding courage in the proof. The broken hearts can beat again. Every spark has taught us how to heal. Every touch reminds us what is real. We chose to stay, we dare to feel. This is our connection quest.
Attachment style number 3. Avoidant attachment. Now we are flipping the script entirely. If you're avoidant, your biggest fear isn't abandonment. It's engulfment, being trapped, losing yourself, becoming we when you very much prefer to be I. You value independence and self-sufficiency above almost everything else. You might even pride yourself on not needing anyone. You might be avoidantly attached if, when someone says I love you too soon, your first instinct is to run, or at least create some distance. Let's have a deep conversation about our feelings sounds like actual torture to you. You've ended relationships right when they were getting really good, because suddenly it all felt too serious or too much. You focus on your partner's flaws as a way to keep emotional distance. They're great, but they're too emotional. Or they text too much. Or they want too much from me. Your response to conflict is to withdraw, shut down, or just leave. You might disappear for days. You might give the silent treatment. You might just check out emotionally while staying physically present. You need a lot of alone time. And when your partner wants more connection than you're comfortable with, you feel suffocated. You intellectualize emotions instead of feeling them. I don't understand why people get so upset about these things. It's not logical. It's not that deep. You've described yourself as not that emotional or just realistic about relationships. Your exes have probably called you emotionally unavailable, and you are like, yeah? And? Here's what happened to you as a kid. Your caregivers were probably physically present, but emotionally unavailable. When you expressed emotions or needs, they were dismissed, minimized, or ignored. Maybe you heard things like, stop crying, you're fine. Don't be so sensitive. I don't have time for this right now. Big kids don't need help. So you learn that feelings are inconvenient, that needs won't be met anyway, that you have to handle everything yourself. Your survival strategy became, stop having needs, stop expressing emotions, become entirely self-sufficient, because depending on others is unsafe. As an adult, you can do relationships on a surface level. You can date. You can even be in long-term partnerships. You might be the person who's great at the beginning, fun, charming, attentive. But when things start to get really real, when someone wants to move in together, or talk about marriage, or just like have a vulnerable conversation about feelings, your nervous system sounds the alarm. Danger. Intimacy detected. Abort mission. And you start creating distance, often without even realizing you're doing it. How you create distance? You suddenly get really busy with work. You start picking fights about small, stupid things. You focus intensely on all the ways your partner isn't perfect. You fantasize about your ex, or about being single. You withdraw emotionally while staying physically present. And here's the tragedy. You do want connection. You're human. Of course you do. But your nervous system has been trained to perceive closeness as a threat to your autonomy. So you end up in this painful place where you're lonely, but you also can't let anyone in. You're standing on one side of a wall you built yourself, wondering why you feel so alone, but also terrified to take the wall down.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real.
Attachment style number 4. Fearful-avoidant. Disorganized attachment. Okay, deep breath. If you are fearful-avoidant, also called disorganized attachment, you basically got handed both anxious and avoidant patterns. You are dealing with two completely contradictory instruction manuals running simultaneously. You desperately want closeness, and you're terrified of it. You might be fearful-avoidant if you pursue people intensely, and then the second they reciprocate and want to get close, you panic and push them away. You feel like you're in a constant internal war with yourself about what you want in relationships. Your relationships are intense, chaotic, and exhausting. Lots of drama, lots of ups and downs. You swing between, I love you so much, and I need to get out of here right now. You have a history of dramatic breakups and makeups. You can't predict your own behavior. You surprise yourself with how you react. You both crave and fear emotional intimacy. You feel like you're simultaneously too much and not enough. You might test people to see if they'll stay. You create chaos. You push boundaries. You self-sabotage. And you have a lot of shame about all of this. Here's what happened to you. Fearful-avoidant attachment typically develops when the person who was supposed to be your source of safety was also your source of fear. Maybe there was abuse. Maybe there was severe neglect. Maybe your caregiver was loving one moment and terrifying the next. Maybe they were dealing with their own severe mental health issues or addiction. The point is, your nervous system received completely contradictory signals. Come here for safety and run away for survival at the exact same time. So you never learned a coherent attachment strategy. You're operating with two opposing forces constantly at war inside you. What this looks like in adult relationships. You pull someone emotionally close and then ghost them. You're convinced you found the one, and then suddenly they're all wrong. You might create chaos or crisis to test whether someone will stay. You self-sabotage right when things are going well. You have intense relationships that burn bright and crash hard. And through all of this, you probably carry a ton of shame. Why can't I just be normal? Why do I keep doing this? What's wrong with me? If this is you, I want to say something directly to you. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You developed this pattern as a survival response to an impossible situation. A situation where the person who was supposed to keep you safe was also the person you needed to be protected from. Your nervous system did the best it could with completely contradictory information. This pattern is going to take more work to heal. It usually requires trauma-informed therapy with someone who really understands disorganized attachment. But it is healable. You can move toward secure attachment. You deserve that. And it's possible.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real. Every scar, every scar, every scar, every scar, every scar is a scar, tells a story.
Alright, we're about to do the actual attachment audit, the self-assessment portion of this episode. I'm going to walk you through some questions, and I want you to answer honestly, not how you wish you'd respond, not how you think a healthy person would respond, how you actually respond. If you are driving or working out or doing dishes, that's fine, just answer in your head. But if you can, grab your journal or your phone notes and write your answers down. There's something powerful about seeing it on paper. Ready? Question 1. Your partner texts you saying they need some alone time tonight. What's your immediate gut level reaction? Take a second. Really sit with what comes up. Option A. Cool. I actually have stuff I want to do too. Maybe I'll catch up on that show or call a friend. Talk to you tomorrow. Option B. Immediate spike of panic. Wait. Why? Did I do something wrong? Are they mad at me? Are they pulling away? Should I ask if we're okay? Maybe I should text them something supportive so they know I'm here. Option C. Relief. Thank God. I was starting to feel a bit suffocated anyway. I need a break. Option D. Complete internal chaos. Part of you is relieved. Part of you is panicking. You have no idea how you actually feel about this, and you might oscillate between both reactions. Got your answer? Hold on to it. Question 2. Think about your last breakup or a recent big conflict. What did you do? Option A. I tried to communicate clearly, even though it was hard. I expressed my needs and listened to theirs. We worked toward a resolution, or acknowledged that we couldn't fix it. Option B. I immediately went into fix-it mode. I apologized, even if it wasn't my fault. I basically did anything to make them stay or make them not be mad at me. I sacrificed my needs to keep the peace. Option C. I shut down. I withdrew. I might have given the silent treatment or just disappeared for a while. I might have even ended things to avoid having to deal with the conflict. Option D. I oscillated wildly between wanting to fix it and wanting to run away. Maybe I broke up with them and then begged them to take me back. Or I was desperate to reconnect and then suddenly I couldn't handle the closeness. Question 3. Someone you're dating wants to have a deep conversation about feelings. What's your honest reaction? Option A. Sure, let's talk. I want to understand where you're coming from and share where I'm at too. Option B. Yes, I love these conversations. Let me tell you all my feelings. I've been wanting to talk about this, maybe even before they've fully expressed what they want to talk about. Option C. Internal screaming. Can we not do this? Why does everything have to be so deep? This feels like a trap. I just want things to be light and easy. Option D. I want to have it, and I want to avoid it. I'll probably start the conversation and then shut down halfway through. Or I'll be really open and then feel exposed and pull back. Question 4. You're newly dating someone. What's your typical vibe? Option A. I'm excited but also taking my time. I'm getting to know them, seeing if we are actually compatible, not rushing anything. Option B. I'm all in. I'm already thinking about the future. I'm texting constantly. I'm organizing my schedule around them. I might be planning dates weeks in advance. I'm feeling really intense feelings really quickly. Option C. I'm keeping my options open. I'm maintaining a lot of independence. I'm looking for red flags or reasons why this might not work out. I'm keeping my guard up. Option D. I'm swinging between this is amazing, I'm so into you, and wait, maybe this is a mistake. I need to slow down. I might be really intense one week and distant the next. Question 5. How would you describe your relationship history in one sentence? Option A. Generally healthy, with normal ups and downs. Some worked out, some didn't, but I learned from each one. Option B. Intense, and usually one-sided. I tend to love harder than I'm loved back. I'm always the one who's more invested, more emotional, more attached. Option C. I often felt trapped or suffocated. I ended things before they got too serious. I have a pattern of pulling away when the relationships progress. Option D. Chaotic, dramatic, and confusing. Lots of breakups and makeups, really intense highs and really painful lows. I can't always explain why I did what I did. Okay, take a breath. Let's interpret your answers. If you answered mostly A's, you're leaning secure. You might not be perfect. Nobody is, but your baseline attachment style is healthy. Relationships feel manageable to you. Congratulations. If you answered mostly B's, you have anxious attachment. Welcome to the club. We're the ones who check our phones every 5 minutes and catastrophize when someone doesn't text back immediately. If you answered mostly C's, you have avoidant attachment. You probably almost didn't finish this episode because talking about feelings makes you uncomfortable. But you're still here, so that's growth. If you answered mostly D's, you have fearful-avoidant or disorganized attachment. It's a tough one. Please consider finding a really good trauma-informed therapist if you don't have one already. And if your answers were mixed, that's normal. Most people aren't 100% one style in every context. You might be secure with friends, but anxious in romantic relationships. You might be generally avoidant, but become anxious when someone triggers your abandonment wound. Context matters. Relationships matter. Some people will activate your secure side, others will activate your insecure side.
We're learning how to speak our truth. Finding courage in the proof. The broken hearts can beat again. Every scar has taught us how to heal. Every touch reminds us what is real. We chose to stay, we dare to feel. This is our connection quest.
So now you know your attachment style. You've identified the pattern. And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, cool. So I'm anxious, or avoidant, or a confusing mix of both. Now what? Am I just doomed to repeat these patterns forever? Absolutely not. Here's the beautiful, hopeful truth. Your attachment style can change. It's called earned, secure attachment, and it's backed by actual neuroscience research, not just positive vibes and manifestation journals. Your attachment style is basically your nervous system's default setting. It's the program that's been running in the background since childhood. But your brain is neuroplastic. That means it can rewire itself based on new experiences. You can develop secure attachment as an adult through, number 1, awareness. You're literally doing this right now. You can't change what you can't see. Understanding your pattern is the first and the most crucial step. Number 2, therapy, especially attachment-focused therapy or trauma-informed therapy. A good therapist can provide what psychologists call a corrective emotional experience. Basically, they show your nervous system through consistent, attuned, reliable presence that people can be safe, that your needs can be met, that vulnerability doesn't have to lead to abandonment or engulfment. Over time, your nervous system starts to believe that maybe, just maybe, secure attachment is possible. Number 3, secure relationships. Being in relationships, romantic or otherwise, with securely attached people who don't abandon you when you're anxious and don't smother you when you're avoidant. These relationships provide ongoing corrective experiences. Your nervous system slowly updates its expectations from people leave or closeness is dangerous to, oh, this person is consistently here. I can actually trust this. This is why dating someone secure can be so healing. And also, why it can feel boring at first if you're used to chaos. Number 4, intentional practice. This is where the rubber meets the road. You have to actively practice doing the opposite of what your attachment style tells you to do. For anxious folks, practice self-soothing instead of immediately seeking reassurance. Build a capacity to hold your anxiety without outsourcing it to your partner. For avoidant folks, practice vulnerability. Stay present with discomfort instead of running. Share one feeling that feels scary to share. For fearful-avoidant folks, practice noticing your push-pull pattern without immediately acting on it. Just observe. Oh, there I go again, pulling them close and then pushing them away. This is uncomfortable. Your nervous system will protest. It will feel wrong. That's normal. Keep practicing anyway. Number 5, self-compassion. Stop beating yourself up for your patterns. They made sense given your history. Honor the younger version of you who developed these strategies to survive. And simultaneously commit to growth. You can hold both. This pattern protected me when I was a kid. And now I'm choosing to develop new patterns because I deserve secure, healthy love. Real talk about timeline. This is not a 3-0-day challenge. This is not a quick fix. We're talking months to years of consistent work. But every single person I know who's done this work, including myself, says it's absolutely worth it. The alternative is continuing to repeat the same painful patterns for the rest of your life. Dating the same person in different bodies, having the same fights, feeling the same fears. Or you can do the work and actually build the kind of relationship you deserve. Your choice.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real.
All right, let's talk about what you can actually do with this information starting today. Because awareness without action is just interesting trivia about yourself. I'm going to give you specific homework based on your attachment style. If you identify it as anxious attachment, your work is learning to self-soothe. You need to build a capacity to regulate your own emotions instead of constantly outsourcing that job to your partner. Here's your practice. The next time you feel that spike of anxiety, the urge to text again, to ask for reassurance, to create drama, just to get engagement, stop, take a breath, say out loud, "This is my anxious attachment being activated. My nervous system is perceiving a threat that may or may not be real." Just naming it creates space between the trigger and your reaction. Then ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? Usually, what you need is to discharge that anxious energy. So do something physical. Go for a walk or run. Do 10 jumping jacks or push-ups. Dance to a song you love. Do the physiological sigh. 2 inhales through the nose. 1 long exhale through the mouth. Or do something that helps you reality test. Journal. What evidence do I have that they are losing interest? What are the facts versus the story I'm telling myself? Call a friend who's not the person you're anxious about. Read something that reminds you of your worth. The goal is not to eliminate anxiety. The goal is to develop the capacity to hold anxiety without immediately acting on it. If you identified as avoidant attachment, your work is learning to lean into discomfort instead of running from it. You need to practice vulnerability even when every cell in your body is screaming, "No." Here's your practice. This week, Share one feeling with your partner that feels vulnerable. Not a thought, not an opinion. A feeling. I feel scared when we talk about moving in together. I feel overwhelmed when you ask me to share my emotions. I feel like I'm going to disappoint you. Notice your urge to intellectualize it, minimize it, or make a joke. Don't do that. Just sit in the discomfort of being emotionally honest. Also, start paying attention to when you're creating distance. Are you suddenly too busy with work? Are you picking fights about small things? Are you making a mental list of your partner's flaws? These are signs your nervous system feels threatened by closeness. Your job is to notice the pattern and choose to stay anyway. Say to yourself, my nervous system feels unsafe with this level of closeness. But I'm safe. I can handle this. I'm choosing to stay. If you identified as fearful-avoidant attachment, your work is developing the capacity to observe your patterns without judgment. Here's your practice. Just notice. Seriously. Don't try to fix it yet. Just see it. Oh, there I go again. I pull them close, and now I'm pushing them away. Oh, I'm in that place where I want connection, and I want to run simultaneously. The more you can see the pattern happening, the more space you create to eventually choose a different response. Also, and I cannot stress this enough, please find a trauma-informed therapist if you don't have one. Fearful-avoidant attachment usually has roots in early trauma or really chaotic caregiving. That needs professional support to heal. You deserve that support. This work is hard to do alone. If you identified as secure attachment, your work is maintaining your secure base while having compassion for partners with insecure attachment. Don't take their anxiety or avoidance personally. It's about their nervous system, not about you. Set boundaries when you need to. You can be supportive without becoming their only source of emotional regulation. And model secure behavior. Show them what it looks like to communicate clearly, to handle conflict without drama or withdrawal, to be both independent and connected. Sometimes, being in a relationship with a secure person is the most healing thing for someone with insecure attachment.
Every scar tells a story. Every wound can learn to heal. When we dare to be seen, that's when love becomes real. Every scar, every scar, every scar, every scar, every scar, every scar tells a story.
Okay, we're coming to the end, and I want to leave you with 4 specific action steps you can take this week. Action step 1. Name your attachment style. Say it out loud. Write it down. I have anxious attachment, or I lean avoidant, or I'm fearful avoidant, or I'm working towards secure. Just naming it takes away some of its power. It moves from this is who I am to this is a pattern I have. Action step 2. Journal about your relationship patterns. Get out a notebook. Write about your last 2 to 3 significant relationships. What patterns do you see? Did you always pick unavailable people? Did you always leave when things got serious? Did you lose yourself in the relationship? Were your relationships chaotic and intense? Your attachment style has been running the show. Now you're going to start consciously directing it. Action step 3. Pick one practice. Based on your attachment style, choose one thing from what we talked about today and commit to practicing it this week. Anxious. Build a self-soothing toolkit. Avoidant. Share one vulnerable feeling. Fearful avoidant. Notice your push-pull without judgment. Don't try to change everything at once. Start small. Build momentum. Action step 4. Have a conversation with your partner if you are in a relationship. Share what you learned about yourself. Be vulnerable about your pattern. You might say something like, "Hey, I was listening to this podcast about attachment styles, and I realized I have anxious attachment. That explains why I get so panicked when you don't text back right away, or when you need space. I'm working on it, but I wanted you to understand what's happening in my nervous system so you don't take it personally." Or, "I learned I have avoidant attachment, which means I sometimes withdraw when I'm feeling too close or vulnerable. It's not about you. It's my pattern. I'm working on staying present instead of running." Vulnerability builds connection, and it helps your partner understand that your attachment behaviors aren't about them. They're about old wounds you're healing. All right, my loves. We did it. We did the attachment audit. How are you feeling? Overwhelmed? Seen? Validated? Scared? Hopeful? All of the above? Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. This is big work. Understanding yourself at this level is not for the faint of heart. But here's what I need you to remember. You are not your attachment style. You are not broken. You are not damaged goods. You are not too much or too difficult or impossible to love. You are a person who developed adaptive survival strategies when you were too young to have any other options. Your nervous system did the best it could with the environment it was given. Those patterns made sense then. They kept you safe. But now you get to choose whether those strategies still serve you. And if they don't, if they're keeping you stuck in painful patterns, if they're sabotaging your connections, if they're preventing you from experiencing the kind of love you actually deserve, then you get to do the work to change them. It won't be quick. It won't be easy. There'll be setbacks. You'll slip back into old patterns when you're stressed or triggered. That's part of the process. That's what healing looks like. It's not linear. But if you commit to the journey, if you commit to awareness, to therapy, to practicing new behaviors, even when they feel uncomfortable, you can absolutely move towards secure attachment. And that means you can have relationships that feel safe instead of scary. Relationships where you're not constantly scanning for threats. Relationships where you can be yourself without fear of abandonment or engulfment. You deserve that. And it's possible. Next week, we're going even deeper. Episode 2 is called Breaking Free from Anxious Attachment Patterns, and I'm bringing in a special guest, Dr. Bora Saik. She hates being called doctor, so we will just stick to Bora. She's a luminary in the intersecting fields of social psychology and cultural sociology, and specializes in attachment theory. We're going to give you even more tools, more practices, more hope for healing anxious attachment specifically. And then the week after that, episode 3 is The Avoidant Heart. Understanding distance as protection, so nobody's getting left out of this healing journey. If this episode resonated with you, please share it. Screenshot your biggest takeaway and tag me on Instagram at ConnectionQ. Leave a review. Tell someone who needs to hear this. You can find show notes, resources, and the downloadable attachment style quiz at connectionq.us. There's also more content on the blog at blog.connectionq to us. And if you want book recommendations, check out amanzareads.com for my curated list of attachment theory books that actually changed my life. I'm Miku Lane, and I'm so grateful you're here on this quest with me. Remember, you deserve a love that feels safe, not scary, and that starts with understanding yourself. Until next time, keep questioning, keep connecting, and keep choosing growth over comfort. The quest continues.
Thank you for joining us on this leg of Connection Quest. Remember, connection isn't a destination. It's a journey you choose to take, one conversation, one understanding, one brave step at a time. If today's episode sparked something, share it with someone who might need it. Find show notes, resources, and ways to connect with our community at our website, connectionq.us. Also, check out our Connection Quest blog. Don't forget share and subscribe wherever you listen to your pod. Until next time, keep nurturing the love you're building.